Today we are starting our Python programming tutorial and we will try to learn what is Python, why is it used, and what are the benefits of Python. And then we will let you know how you can also get started with Python.
Okay.
So, in simple terms, I have created this article here. So, Python is a versatile, high level programming language that is known for its readability, simplicity, and broad applicability. The name of its creator is Guido von Rossum, and it was first released way back in 1991. Okay, it's not that
Okay.
Python has gained popularity nowadays, like for the last 5 6 years, but Python was released in 1991, as you know. So Python's design philosophy emphasizes code readability and syntax that allows programmers to accept concepts in fewer lines of code. The main idea of Python is to write fewer lines of code and achieve the same logic that we want to achieve. And if you compare it to languages like C++ or Java, you will find the syntax of Python very easy to learn, very easy to remember. Okay, so here is idle. Idle is an IDE of Python. IDE is integrated development environment. Okay, integrated development environment. So integrated development environment is a software or a tool that we use to write any programming language. Okay, so in this integrated environment, which is idle, we can write our Python code. Suppose we write x is equal to 5, y is equal to 10, and we say what is x plus y. It will give us an output 15. Okay, so this is how easy Python is. Suppose you want to print something. Just a minute. Suppose you want to print something. Yes, let's say, suppose you want to print, I am learning Python. So inside double quotes, you will simply write print. Inside parenthesis, you will write parenthesis or round brackets. You will put your statement, whatever you want to print. So you will just hit enter and it will print that statement on our as an output. So the simplicity of Python is here we have nowhere said that x is equal to 5. We have not defined its data type. We have written y is equal to 10. We have written x plus y and it has given us the output of 5 plus 10, as you can see. So in Python we can use these type of mathematical operators. In Python we can print anything that we want. Okay, so Python's syntax is very easy to learn. If you were doing similar kind of programming in C++ or any other programming language, in that case you will write something like int x is equal to 5, int y is equal to 10. Suppose you have, and then after every line, just a minute. So if you were creating variables in any other programming language, so you have to define what is the type of that variable. Int means integer. Suppose you have to declare another variable that is a string. Obviously this is something that we are going to learn also, but I'm just explaining. So let's say you will write something like string name is equal to John. Okay. So this is something that you have to do. But in Python, if you will write name is equal to John. Okay. So now Python will understand from the value itself that the name variable is storing a string value. And that's why when you will write print name, so in name John is stored. That's why when you will write print name, you will see John will be printed. Okay. So obviously you don't have to start learning the syntax as of now, but the simple concept is, and the simple thing to understand here is that the key feature of Python is it is very simple and easy to learn. Obviously, in any other programming language, the syntax is very much complex or complicated. Okay. So Python syntax is clear and easy to understand, making it an ideal language for beginners. So suppose you are starting programming for the first time, starting to learn programming for the first time, or you learn program back in your school or college, and then you never used programming. In that case, it is very easy to learn, and someone who knows programming can adapt very easily to Python's way of coding. Then there are terms like Python is an interpreted language. That means the code is executed line by line. Okay. Here you can see the code is executed line by line, and this is very much helpful in solving errors or debugging. Like we are also, whatever program we will write, it's not that the entire program will be compiled, it is interpreted, it will be coded and executed line by line. This is also something that you are going to understand later. But these are the few key features: simple and easy to learn, interpreted language, and it is dynamically typed. In Python, you don't need to declare the type of variable explicitly. The type is determined at runtime. As I said, here when we said x is equal to 5, Python automatically knew. If we will ask Python what is type of x, it will say int, that means integer. Suppose we write f name is equal to John, L name is equal to Doe. Okay, so this is name of a person. F name John, L name Doe. If we ask Python what is type of f name, okay, type of f name, so Python will say str, string. String are alphanumerical characters, which we will just learn after some basic introduction. But here we never write something like this, like string name or int y or float salary is equal to something. Okay, we never write like this, so we don't declare data types. So that's why it is dynamically typed. You don't need to declare the type of variable, and this is determined at runtime. It has an extensive standard library. Python has a, that is the most important feature, that Python has a rich set of libraries and framework that support a variety of applications. Okay, so now since we are learning Python, I have made this very simple block diagram. In this block diagram, you can see what are applications of Python. Okay, so when you will learn Python, you can use Python for creating web development purpose. What is web development? You can create web applications. For example, let's take an example here. Let's say this is a hotel management app. In hotel management app, when you will go to dashboard, from here you can add hotels. Okay. From here you can add rooms. Similarly, there can be a hospital management system, there can be a CRM. So, for example, we also have a CRM here. Okay, so here business can log in and let's say, just a minute. So here you can see one of the business has logged in and this business can manage their users. For example, they can view their users. Okay, they can manage their orders, they can view their orders, everything. So the thing is, this type of applications can be created with the help of Python. Okay, you have data science and machine learning also. So with the help of Python, this is the most important usage of Python. You can use it for data science, you can use it for creating machine learning models, everything related to AI, generative AI that you are seeing, most of them run on Python somewhere. Like most of them have Python as their backbone. Like for something like Chat GPT that you see, or you know, AI based image generation, AI based text to voice generation, those type of applications, or a simple classification application that can classify between images. You can do various automation tasks, you know that office automation, email automation, those kind of things. You can also use it for networking purpose, like Python can be used to create networking applications because it has libraries like twisted and socket and all. Okay, and it can also be used for game development. But the most number of applications that are developed in Python, or the most important application of Python, is data science and machine learning. That's why most of the students start to learn Python, and also web development. Then later comes web development, because when you will create your machine learning, as I showed you, right? This type of applications, everything. Obviously, in backend, you may apply AI, you may apply uh, machine learning, but your program needs to be accessed also, right? There should be some interface. So for example, if you are using hotel management system, right? So there should be an interface to add hotels. If you are using a CRM or a hospital management or any kind of AI, even if you are using Chat GPT, you see there is a interface. So in Chat GPT or any other programming language, for example, Copilot, you must have used Copilot or heard about it. So Copilot is just like ChatGPT, it's Microsoft's version. Let's say, what is best use of Python? So here you can see, when we are typing something, there is an interface. Okay. And in interface, when you type something, it gives you an output. Obviously in backend, something like Python is running. Okay. But this interface designing and everything is something Python also supports, and it is also giving you the same thing, that it supports web development, it supports data science. Now when it is saying it supports web development, now comes the important thing. Why I am asking you, like, what are you interested in learning? Because that will define our learning curve, that will define our roadmap. Okay. So if someone is interested in learning web development, that means you want to create web applications. It can be an e-commerce application, it can be a ERP, it can be a CRM. You guys said you have worked on .NET, right? So in .NET, you must have created ERP applications, billing applications, financial accounting applications, right? So In .NET, most of people create using .NET. You can create anything, right? So in similar way, in Python, if you want to create web development applications or web applications, you have to learn Django, Flask, and something called Pyramid. Okay, Django and Flask are the most popular frameworks of Python. I'm telling you from ASP.NET point of view. Maybe you will understand. Even if you don't, just don't worry. We will, grasp everything later. So, for example, programming language is C sharp. Okay, programming language is C sharp. The framework is ASP.NET. Okay, if you are familiar with it. So, programming language is C sharp. Framework is ASP.NET, and web applications are created. For that, you need HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc. So, the thing in the similar way, when you will start creating web applications with Python, let's say the framework is language will be Python. So, your backend, everything will be Python. The framework that we will use is Flask, and obviously we must learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So, this way, by using Python, SQLite, okay, this type of modules, Flask framework, and learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we can create any type of ERP. We can create this type of CRM applications. Okay, but if you want to use Python for data science and data analytics, okay, for example, if you want to create graphs, if you want to create uh, apply machine learning. So here is a very simple application of Python. Suppose some handwritten digits are received, okay, like this. This is a handwritten digit. So we are using Python to detect what handwritten digit it is it. So if you can see it looks like 0, okay, it looks like 6, it looks like 7. So based on handwritten digit, it will predict what that handwritten digit looks like. That is something that you can do with Python. In the similar way, suppose you have your numerical data like sepal length, sepal width, petal width of a flower. So on the basis of your data, you can create graphs like this. Okay, scatter plots, violin charts. Okay, you can create bar charts. You can create compare different type of data. So graph plotting becomes very easy with Python and its libraries. Okay, in the similar way, you can read any type of data. Like for example, here we are reading a CSV file and we are printing the output of a CSV file, and then we are applying applications like replacing missing values. We are applying, trying to understand what data is representing, you know filling missing values. So things like that. Obviously there are many more things that we can do, like we can apply linear regression, like we can do exploratory data analysis. Okay, so everything can be done, and I have examples of everything which I will show. So, for example, here we are applying learning heat map, analyzing the data, applying logistic regression, things like that. So and on, I will give you various videos where you will learn all of that. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to learn data science and analytics, then we have to learn Python first, and then after Python we have to learn pandas, numpy, matplotlib, scipy, seaborn, these libraries. Okay, so Python can do anything, but in order to do those things, we have to learn various other type of modules and libraries. Is this part clear to you? Like, first we will learn core Python. Then after learning core Python, whatever way we want to go, suppose we want to go in the data science and machine learning industry, then for that industry, Python has a different set of libraries to learn. Okay. Suppose you want to go in machine learning and artificial intelligence, then you have to learn Google TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, scikit-learn, these type of libraries. Okay. So so this is Power BI. Power BI, as the name suggests, is used for business intelligence. Here we can do data analysis. Let's open an HR analytics dashboard here. Okay. So this is a simple HR analytics dashboard. Here you can see how many male candidates are there, female are there, total are there, everything. Why I am telling you this? When you are reading data, okay, and suppose you have to apply different type of machine learning there. So here also you have Python. Okay. So you can see in Power BI also you can apply Python. For example, you can use a Python visual there. You can enable Python visual, and then you can connect with your data and start writing your Python script here. For example, you can select department or anything here, and then it will start the Python code. And then you can write your Python code here, okay, to create graphs in even Power BI. Okay. So even in these type of applications, when you have knowledge of Python, you can use Power BI's own, advantage, and then whatever you are not able to do in Power BI, you can do it with the help of Python and its libraries. So that's why it is very important, and that's why Python is gaining so much popularity for data analysis, machine learning, and AI. Okay, these are all the applications. So now enough said about Python. We understood some of the syntax. Now the next thing is how can we install Python in our computer? Okay, so there are two ways. First way is you can start using Python without installing anything in your computer. Okay. So to start using Python without installing anything, just go to Google and you can write it down. Okay. Search Google Colab. Google Colab is an IDE, it's a notebook where you can type Python, run Python, okay, and whatever you will write will be saved on Google Cloud, okay. So for this, you must be logged into your Gmail account. From here, simply select Google Colab, and then when Google Colab will open, you have to open new notebook, okay. When you will open new notebook, it will start the IDE. Okay, so it will bring this interface. Now in this interface, you can see this is name of your file. So let's say we are learning Python basics, and this is batch December 24, 25. Just giving an example. So this is Python basics December, whatever. You have written a name for your file, and here you will see a connect option. So from here you will simply click connect and it will start connecting. Okay. So where is it connecting? It is connecting to Google Cloud. So this application is not running in your computer. It is running in Google Cloud. You can see. So we have been connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend. Okay. And we are using 1 GB of 12 GB RAM. So it has given us 12 GB RAM and 32 GB disk space. Just like your computer, it's a cloud environment. And here you can write your Python code. So for example, if I write print hello Python, okay. When you will write this, you can simply run by pressing this icon and it will give you the output. Okay. If you want to write more lines of code, you can press here code and it will give you more lines of code. So this is a notebook. Okay. This is taken from Jupyter Notebook. So it is a cloud hosted Jupyter Notebook. So what we are saying cloud hosted Jupyter Notebook or on Google, which is an IDE for Python. Like when you try to create a application in ASP.NET, you use Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, you will run your solution, right? For example, we are creating a hospital app there. So you will use this IDE. In Visual Studio, you will write your code, like connect with the database and everything. So this is Visual Studio. In the similar way, if you want to write your basic Python applications, you can use Google Colab Jupyter Notebook. Okay. You can this is one way, as I said. As a beginner, you can start trying it and you will be able to easily run these programs. This is a comment in Python. When you will write hashtag, this is a comment. So how to print something? You use the print function. Print is a function. So in a function, there is round bracket. Okay. In round bracket, you provide parameters. So you are providing a parameter like this. Okay. So you are providing a parameter like this. For example, hello world, like everyone does. So whatever parameter value you will provide, here we are providing a string parameter value. It's in double quotes. And you will run this, it will print hello world. So this is how we are printing something. But suppose you have to write a comment. We write comment so that we can understand what we are doing here. Or someone who is reading our code can understand what we are doing here. So that's why a comment is written in the hashtag. This is single line comment. Okay, this is a single line comment. So you have learned two things today, that if you have to print a value in Python, you write print function. Inside your print function, you will simply write that parameter and that parameter will be printed. If you have to write a single line comment, you will write it like this. If you have to write a double or multiple line comment, you will write three quotes. Okay. So this is three quotes. Three quotes open, three quotes closed. Inside three quotes, this is a multiple line comment, or this is a multiple line comment or text. Okay. And so this will be your multiple line text where we have provided multiple lines. Okay. So when we are using Python here. Here, as I said, it is not saved in our computer and it is running on Google's own cloud. Here we have AI also. Suppose I want to do something, then I can generate it using AI as well, okay, which we will see later. So that is one advantage of this, okay. But as a beginner, you have to learn the basics. So you have to install the default IDE of Python. This is not the default IDE of Python. This is more advanced IDE of Python. To install the default IDE of Python, you have to go to Python's official website. So please note down python.org. Python.org is the official website of Python from where you can download the latest version of Python for your computer. Okay, this is a simple application that you can download. It's a executable file, and then you can install that executable file. So whatever version of Python you are installing, for example, the latest version is 3.13.1 as per December 2024. Okay. The main versions of Python that are released are Python 2 and Python 3. Okay. Python 2, Python 3. But for a long time, Python 3 is there. And in Python 3 also, we are at 3.13. So whatever version you are installing, if you are installing it in your computer, you can see there is an option to add Python 3.8 to path. Okay. So when you will add Python 3.8 to your path, then your computer will know where is Python installed. Is it okay? But check this box at the time of installation. Just check this box. Okay. And after checking this box, Python will be added to your system environment variables. Okay. And once it will be added to your system environment variables, if you will open your command prompt and write Python there, so it will give you the Python interface where you can start typing your Python code. For example, in my computer, Python 3.10.5 is installed. Okay. So here if I write import math, just giving example, and then math dot sqrt, what is square root of 2, 1.4142. Okay. So it has, so I am able to run Python in my command prompt itself. Okay. Or in other operating system, your terminal or your console. Okay. So but if this step is not followed, okay, so we may get an error here. So that is important. And if you are getting an error, then I will simply give you a video, link to a video where I have explained the process. But since you are installing it for the first time, just keep that in mind. Okay. So this is how you will install Python. And once Python is installed in your computer, idle IDE will also be installed. Idle is the default IDE of Python, which is integrated development environment of Python. And in this case, it can be integrated development and learning environment of Python. So you can open it. In idle, you will get two type of interface. Please write down somewhere that in idle, two interfaces. First interface is shell interface. Second is the editor interface. Obviously, there is a lot of process here, but these are two interfaces: shell interface and editor interface. In a starting, we will use the shell interface. Shell interface we use mostly for learning purpose, and in shell interface you will see these three arrows. So wherever you are seeing these three arrows, that means you are inside a shell interface, and these three arrows means input, like write your code here. Okay, so here you are seeing three arrows. See, this is your interface. From here you can go to option, configure idle, and you can increase the size of idle, like let's say 13 pixel font size. You can change color and everything. Okay, so here you can write your basic code. For example, here if I have to write something like print hello, so I will write it inside double quotes and print hello. What it will do, it will print the output in the next line. This is what shell does. Okay, it will print the output in the second line. So this is idle shell for us. And if you want to open idle editor from file, you can create a new file. This is idle editor. Okay, this is idle editor. So here you can see we have Python shell. Here we have editor. In editor, you will not see information like what is your system's configuration and all. Here you will simply see an interface where you can write your program. For example, I said x is equal to 6, y is equal to 7, print x plus y. So here when I am hitting enter, I am not seeing the output. Okay. But here if I will hit enter, I will see the output. So that's why I say we will use shell for learning purpose only. But to create actual programs, we will use editor. In editor, once you have written your program, you can go to file and save your program. So we are saving the program, and we can save the program in default library of Python. Okay, so here we are saving the program as batch 21 24. I will write it like day one. So I can write any name here, like you can see test, triangle, whatever. But you have to remember your Python files will be saved as .py. And when the, for editor you have to run it, run module. And when you will run it, you will see its output here. So we said that x is equal to 6, y is equal to 7, x plus y 30. So this is the output of this file which is stored at this location. It is showing you the entire location where this file is stored, and when we compiled this file or we executed this file, what output did we get? Okay, so this is something that you can see here. So this is a very simple introduction of Python. So we will use editors for creating multi-steps programs. Okay, multi-step programs like EMI calculator, area of triangle calculator. As a beginner we will learn these things. Okay, so we will create that, and this is the simple use of Python. So I gave you two options: either you can use Google Colab. Okay, in Google Colab you don't have to install anything, you can just go there and start using Python. And in your idle, you have to install this software and then start writing your Python code. Now, the this is simple basic introduction of Python. I will give you time to install this. I will give you time to try Google Colab and try to write this simple line of code today. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. So later we are going to use another IDE that is called Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator will be used when we will learn core Python. Okay. Anaconda Navigator is, for example, Google Colab gives you Jupyter Notebook on its own cloud. Anaconda Navigator will give you Jupyter Notebook and many other IDEs on your computer itself, but it's a heavy application. So this is Anaconda Navigator. You can see PyCharm, Anaconda AI Navigator, Toolbox, VS Code, Spider, Qt Console, Notebook, Jupyter Lab, Edu Blocks, R Studio. So obviously we will mostly use Jupyter Notebook here. Okay, and this Jupyter Notebook will launch in your local host. So this is something that we will deal later. Like here you can see in your local host, it will be launched and you will see your files. And from here, for example, this is machine learning decision tree. From here, you will see your Jupyter Notebook files. Okay. Here we are trying to analyze a data set called Titanic. So here you can see the same interface, right? Same as Google Colab, but this is in our own computer. So if your code is something that you just want to host everything in your own computer, then you will install this. So today we have learned the basic of Python. We learned some basic syntax like print, variables like x is equal to 5, y is equal to this, something like that. From tomorrow, we will start learning the code of Python, how to create code in Python, what are data types. So our chapters will be like this. Obviously, we have done the getting started part also, installing, writing our code, everything. From then we will start to understand syntax. Okay, like data types, operators, comparison operator, logical operator. So I will provide you this link also so that you can go through it and read something from it so that when we will learn this, it will give you better understanding. So if you want to learn Python, please subscribe to our channel and follow this series so that we will teach you everything from scratch.